Okay, now we are live. I don't know what's up with this light beam, yo. Did that to me last time too. Let me turn this motherfucker off. Is that better? Oh yeah, much better. All right, so now you are. Let me get rid of all that. You are now entering the House of a Thousand Discourses. This is the Passion Project podcast that provides propaganda. I am your host, Darren Duncan, and tonight we're just going to hang out and we're going to randomly Google Florida man because we all know that when you Google Florida man, usually some really hysterical shit pops up. So we're just going to go for that. But first and foremost, I want to give a gigantic shout out to my patrons, my producers. Their names are Stephanie Drowick. Please tell me how to say your last name. I'm not sure if that's exactly how you say it. I would love to get it correctly. But thank you so much for your pledge and joining the Patreon. And also to Linda Montez. I appreciate you two so very much. You guys are going to be the heart and soul of this podcast and keep it going. And you basically pay the rent to the House of a Thousand Discourses. Sorry, you got a shitty landlord, which is me. Totally kidding about that. I'm actually pretty great. And I promise you that I will be doing content very, very soon for all of the Patreons. And up top, before we get into the topics, I also have to give a very gigantic shout out to the sponsors to House of a Thousand Discourses. And number one is My Merch Guy. So if you need merch, hit up My Merch Guy. I love that title because all the time, me being a singer in a band, so many people are like, dude, where can I get good merch? And I'm like, My Merch Guy. It's like everybody's got a guy for something, right? But My Merch Guy is definitely the best around here, 100% sure. Every time, every band I've ever been in, I've ordered from him. I've ordered from him on my other podcast, Don't Blame Us, and it is mymerchguy.com. So if you need merch, hit up my merch guy, and at checkout, use code HO1, letter one, number one, sorry, D for 10% off. So mymerchguy.com. At checkout, use code HO1D for 10% off. Also, our other sponsor is author Joe Chianakas. If you're big into horror novels, I highly recommend this author. He's one of my favorites, and he just had a really good book come out, and that he cannot do discounts on, but all of his other stuff he's willing to do discounts on for us. So, what you do is you go to frightfest4d.com and use code house1000 and you will get 10% off. He is also willing to be super awesome and bundle books for you guys. He has a trilogy of the Rabbit in Red series, and he's going to bundle the first two for you guys at a discount price with an additional 10% off if you use code HO1D. And now, if you order now between today and Halloween, October 31st, you will be entered into a contest to win all three of the trilogy books in the Rabbit and Red series, and it's absolutely amazing. I've read all three of them, and it's crazy. I've also read his book before that, Nightmares Under the Moonlight. It's amazing. Please check them out. That's frightfest4d.com, and the checkout code is house1000. Now let's get into good stuff after I paid the bills to the House of a Thousand Discourses. I got to keep the lights on, right? So this just happened a couple of days ago. This article is from yesterday, as a matter of fact, and it's a Florida man accused of fatally shooting a man who was trimming trees along his mother's property line and has been arrested on a murder charge. I'm going to try not to butcher this man's last name. Druzalowski. So Edward Druzalowski, age 78, threatened to shoot Brian Ford, age 42, who he said was on his property Sunday in De Leon Springs, Florida, while trimming trees along the fence line. So this 78-year-old man told detectives that he threatened to shoot Ford, his neighbor, and when Ford didn't leave, he shot him. The man died at the scene in front of his 8-year-old son. Like, this is fucking insane. I get, like, when you're a homeowner and you gotta bicker with your neighbors about dumb shit, property lines, trees, dogs barking, when you mow, and if you gotta fucking sweep up your grass clippings, and also, like, neighbors hate it. The neighbors that, especially in the really nice neighborhoods, when they use the True Green, they got the guy coming out every month spraying their lawn, And if you don't do it and all your fucking dandelion seeds blow over into their yard, they hate it. I get it. Arguments. My neighbor once called animal control on me one time because I'm a pit bull owner and my dogs got out for literally less than 1 minute. They got out the front door. I was having a birthday party for my child. They got out the front door. They literally pissed on the tree in the front yard and came right back inside. And she fucking called animal control on me. But I didn't shoot her and I don't plan to. I don't even like yell at her. I didn't do shit. Like, you got to live next door to these people. But this man, if he's 78 years old, he clearly has something going on upstairs, or maybe he just had enough. I don't know. I hate to speculate because I didn't fucking live next to the man. But, if the fucking bushes are growing over the tree, I did it in my yard not too long ago. My tree was growing over my fence into the neighbor's yard. The wind fucking blew it down. Bunch of shit fell into his yard. I didn't make it his problem. I fucking went next door and I'm like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go fucking take care of this." So I did. That's what you do. You don't shoot the motherfucker, but that's what this guy did. So officials said that deputies responded to two 911 calls reporting the shooting at about 7:15 p.m. Sunday, according to arrest affidavit. Now, one of the 911 calls came from the wife of the shooter, in which she stated her husband went outside to scare the neighbor with a gun and shot him. The caller further stated her husband did not mean to do this and he just meant to scare him. That's fucked up. His own wife called the 911 on him, and I get it, as you should. If someone gets injured, you should 100% call 911 and get that man some help. But don't go outside with a gun. If you're gonna be a gun, you gotta be a responsible gun owner, just like being a pit bull owner. You gotta be very responsible with that shit too. You don't go outside and threaten a man with a gun. Whatever happened to being like, "Hey, dude, get off my lawn." He's 78 years old. That's what old people do. They yell at people for being on their lawn, right? Like, what happened to that? But I don't know. I don't live there. Maybe this could have been an ongoing thing between the fucking two neighbors. But the 78-year-old man who threatened him with a gun, he told officials that when he told Ford to get off his property, Ford allegedly told him to mind his own business, cursed, according to the affidavit. So he's probably like, "Fuck you, mind your old business, old man. I'm trimming trees for my mom," right? So the man next door who got shot, he also told Druzolowski, the 78-year-old man, if he was going to shoot him, let's see. Oh, he asked him if he was going to shoot him. And the 78-year-old man said that he warned Ford to stop walking towards him or he would shoot. This is why you don't bring a gun into situations, because now you're fucking obligated to use it. Not obligated, that's a strong word, but people that come, that's why I don't carry pocket knives when I go to bars and shit. Because if I got it on me, what if I fucking use it? Like, just take your ass kicking, or if you get in a fight or whatever. That's why I'm like, fuck that, leave that shit at home. So when you draw a gun on somebody, and if they're a wild man and they fucking challenge you, what are you gonna do at that point? You're just gonna you're gonna cock it like they do in the movies, or are you just gonna be like, fucking get out of here? Like, that's why you don't fucking do that shit, because then at that point, like, you've already escalated to a fucking 10. And if with a gun, right? And if they're gonna bring that shit further and further, what do you do? The only thing you can do beyond that point is shoot them if you're trying to escalate it further than that, right? That's what I would think anyway. So he asked him if he was gonna shoot him. He said, "If you keep walking towards me or whatever, I'm gonna fucking shoot you." He told the deputy that he feared for his life, but acknowledged Ford had not threatened him. So the guy walking towards him that got shot didn't threaten him. He just said, "What are you gonna do? Shoot me?" And he walked towards him. To me, that's kind of threatening, I guess. If you're like, "What are you gonna do? Shoot me?" But again, I wasn't there, man, so I don't know. But Brian Ford's mother, the guy who got shot, his mom, Linda Ford, age 76, this dude's mom is 2 years younger than the person that shot his ass. So she said that her 8-year-old grandson witnessed the fatal shooting as he stood next to his father. Jesus Christ, that's insane. So you're outside trimming your mom's trees and shit, and the fucking neighbor comes out, tells you to fucking knock it off or whatever with a goddamn gun. Your son's by you. First of all, tell your son to get the fuck out of here. Whoa, hey, go in the house. This guy's got a gun. Like, this is fucked up, right? But two neighbors came out and said, "Get off my lawn." Oh, the neighbor, sorry. The neighbor came out and said, "Get off my lawn," and point blank shot him. She said her grandson told her that the suspect put the gun right up to his heart and pulled the trigger. Jesus Christ. So that's literally point blank range. She put the gun right up to his fucking heart and killed this man. That is fucking absurd. I can't believe this shit. She said her son was helping her cut down tree limbs that were falling and breaking a chain link fence near her property line. Ford said her son never set foot on her neighbor's property because it's against the law to put up a fence directly along the property line. Instead, a fence can be put up within 2 feet of the property line. Ford said her grandson became hysterical after the shooting. Yeah, I could only imagine. She said the neighbor allegedly pointed the gun at the child after fatally shooting her son. Holy fucking shit, this guy is a madman. My little grandson was going berserk out there. He wanted to be with his daddy. He wanted to lay with his daddy also. This is also in quotes. I wanted to get him in the house for safety reasons. Yeah, there's no other reason to get him in the fucking house. Jesus Christ. So Ford said her son worked as a handyman, doing whatever odd jobs needed to be done to provide for his family. He had 3 sons, ages 20, 18, and 8. So he left 3 fucking kids behind over this shit. He was wonderful, she said. He was wonderful to his children. He was wonderful to me all the time. He was handy. He would help anybody at any time. He would drop everything. She continued, his boys were his world, and now they don't have a daddy. Ford said she called 911 after hearing gunfire. The 78-year-old man next door was booked into Volusia County Branch Jail and being held without bond Monday night, according to the jail records. Earlier Monday, he made an initial appearance in court and was ordered not to possess any guns, court records indicate. So does that mean, hold on a second here, he wasn't let out, right? Earlier Monday, he made an initial appearance in court and was ordered not to possess any guns. So did they let him out and they're like, you can't have guns anymore? Is that what that means? Or does that mean like, hey, motherfucker, you weren't supposed to have guns in the first place? That part confuses me. So if anybody, again, too, like, well, not again, because this is the first time bringing it up, but this is like no offense to anybody in Florida. I'm not like, oh, fucking fuck you, Florida. It's just Florida man is a meme that, people make and people fucking, it's always, oh, I bet it was somebody from Florida. It's just a funny thing, right? Because Florida's a wild state, but this is going to be an ongoing thing with me. I'm going to Google other states as well. Be like Illinois man, Idaho man. I'm going to do this for all 52 states. All 52 of them, God damn it. I say that because in 3rd grade, I got into a full-blown argument with my teacher that there were 52 states, and I swore that my 2nd grade teacher taught me that there were 52. She took me down to his classroom and was like, "This guy swears that there's 52 states and that you taught him that." And they were like, "Have him count them on a map." I'm like, "I'm not counting them on a map. Fuck that." But yeah, so eventually I'll get around the entire country and start Googling that because I think it'll be a fun thing to do. So this next topic here, well, we're on the same topic here, but the headline reads, Florida man sets fire to car belonging to ex-girlfriend who also happens to be his cousin. All right, that's interesting. You have my attention, and I hope I have yours. Let's see what happens here. This happened in Miami, Florida. A man from South Florida was arrested for allegedly setting fire to a car that belonged to his ex-girlfriend, who also happens to be his cousin, according to the Miami-Dade Police Department. Melvin Cintron was charged with second-degree arson and third-degree grand theft auto on Wednesday for the incident that happened back in April. Here's a timeline of what happened. So April 29th, man, this guy looks fucking okay. Yeah, he looks like he would do some shit like that. Look at this fucking guy. Honestly, he looks like the singer of Nothing Face. He looks like he'd be in a band or something. I'd probably drink. I don't know if I would drink a beer with this dude. Nah, he's a little too out there for me. So here's the timeline here. Let's get into the timeline. April 29th, man pours gasoline on the car, setting it on fire. Shortly before midnight on April 29th, a home's Ring doorbell camera captured an unknown man pouring what appeared to be gasoline on a car before igniting it. Now, April 30th, police and fire officials determined fire was intentional amid investigation. Officials were called to the 500 block of Northwest 120th Street in Miami, and the fire was extinguished. Police found a white four-door Jaguar heavily damaged by fire upon arrival. A fucking Jaguar he did this to? Holy shit. The inside of the car sustained heavy damage and the roof was completely burned off. The trunk was also detached from the car and there was a strong odor of what police believe was gasoline. I'm surprised they smelled gasoline and not rubber or plastic or something like that. That's crazy. But the trunk was detached from the car? That's fucking nuts. The Ring camera video shows a man who was unidentified at the time parking the Jaguar, pouring something inside and on top of it and igniting it on fire. The car was immediately consumed by fire and rapidly became fully engulfed in flames. The man then ran southbound on Northwest 5th Avenue towards Northwest 119th Street. Fire officials determined the fire was intentional. Obviously, they saw it on a fucking Ring camera. So police informed the vehicle research unit of the partial VIN number grabbed for the burned car's engine. So there was a partial VIN number. No trunk. The trunk got detached, but goddamn, that VIN number was there, at least partial. But I assume that's probably enough to fucking identify the car, right? So May 1st, police find owner of the burned car. Well, there's a really good start. Now we're starting to get some silver lining to the story. Police determined that the Jaguar was not reported stolen and it was registered to the victim. The registered owner of the car had an emergency contact listed for Cintron, who lives a block away from where the car was set on fire. So he's dating his cousin. He lives a block away from her, and then he sets her car on fire, parks it in front of her house before setting it on fire, mind you. And he probably knew if it's his cousin and his girlfriend at the same time, he probably knew that she had a Ring doorbell. This guy's a fucking idiot. So this dude's driver's license photo matched the description of the man in the Ring camera video. All right, so this happened. Now we're still going down the timeline here. September 11th, victim identifies suspect as her ex-boyfriend slash cousin. Police made contact with the victim on September 11th after months of trying. God damn it, people are texting me. Sorry about that. Police made contact with the victim on September 11th after months of trying. The arrest report said, she said, didn't have an opportunity to report the incident or contact police because she had been living in fear of him. The victim said that he is her familial cousin and the two were in a dating relationship and lived together up until September 8th. If you're dating your cousin, that's one thing, but don't fucking tell people that you're cousins. Just fucking date each other. You're gonna tell the cops, like, yeah, he's my boyfriend. Well, I mean, he's my cousin too, but so she told the police about what happened on April 28th. So the victim and Cintron got into an argument. He left their house. She went to sleep thinking that he left in his own car, but then realized he took her Jaguar. Then the dude arrived at home, told her that he burned her car near his other residence. Well, she's got a Jaguar. I'm not surprised that he's got two residences, but god damn, that he did not look like it. But there I go, judging books by their covers. So she said she provided a false statement to investigators at the time, saying her car caught on fire while she was driving home because Cintron was with her and made her put her phone on speaker anytime she spoke to investigators. Oh, that's fucked up. That's definitely illegal too. You can't do that shit. She added that Cintron regularly carries an unknown make model fully automatic firearm with a double drum high capacity magazine. Jesus Christ, is he the mask? The fuck sounds like a goddamn Tommy gun. The victim positively confirmed the man in the video setting fire to her car was her ex-boyfriend and cousin Cintron. An arrest warrant was issued for him. Now, 2 days later, on September 13th, he was found and arrested. So on September 13th, this dude and his car was found in the 3600 block of Northwest 74th Street and was detained and taken into custody without incident. He was transported to Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center, where he remains on a $5,000 bond. He is scheduled to appear in court on October 13th. So there you go for Jesus Christ. There's another fucking wild Florida man. What else can we do here? Florida man accused of stealing more than 1,300 gallons of Wawa gas. How the fuck do you do that? We're going to find out here right now. So, a Florida suspect, after officials accused him of stealing more than $9,000 worth of gas from Wawa locations in Orange County last year. So, this fucking dude Oh my god, that's insane. How the fuck the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services announced the arrest on Friday. This dude's last name is Perez. So Perez was also arrested by the Orlando Police Department for fuel theft on August 19th, 2022. Officials believe Perez stole gas from 3 separate Wawa locations. Why Wawa? What's wrong with fucking stop and goes and shit? Or ejaculates and evacuates or fucking come and goes or whatever they call them. At least 1,300 gallons of fuel were stolen, totaling more than $9,000 in value. What the fuck was he gonna do with this shit? So the FDACS began investigating the mysterious fuel thefts last year. Oh, so this is an ongoing thing, and they're like, fuck, they started fucking looking into it, and they got video evidence, and they helped the investigators track down this dude. So, based on video evidence, business records, bank records, and other investigative techniques, Perez was positively identified by the Office of Agricultural Law Enforcement as the suspect. This arrest is evidence that our continued collaboration with our law enforcement partners is successful in busting these criminals and should serve as a warning to anyone who thinks they can get away with fuel theft. I didn't even know fuel theft was a thing. Like I know that you can siphon gas. Like, I got a fucking shithead nephew who was doing 19 years for some bullshit. Not bullshit, it's a very serious crime. But this kid used to siphon gas all the time because he had four-wheelers and snowmobiles and dirt bikes and all that shit. Most of them he fucking stole. So, I mean, if you're gonna fucking steal the vehicle, he probably stealing the gas too, but he would tell me nightmare stories of, like, siphoning gas and shit and almost getting caught, but it just makes me wonder what this dude was doing with it, like, it makes like, was he selling it for cheaper? Like, if gas is $4 a gallon, is he selling it for $2 a gallon? Like people do with link cards and shit? They're like 50 cents on the dollar, man. I wonder what the fuck that guy was doing. But he was booked in Orange County Jail after his arrest, and he's being held on unrelated charges? So, I don't know. I don't know about that. That's fucking weird to me. Let's read one more article, and then we'll get out of here. I'm gonna keep my solos, for about 30 minutes or so because I don't want to overstay my welcome. And obviously the audience is still very small right now, and this is brand new, so that I don't have a lot of people here chatting with me and stuff. So we're gonna keep it to about 30 minutes, unless when I do podcasts with my wife. Please go subscribe. I just created this YouTube channel today. It's called Till Death Do Us Podcast. We have no videos up yet, but we're gonna do videos once a week, and we're gonna do deep dives on true crime events. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. It really is. So, hop over on YouTube, where you already are, and search for, um, "Till Death Do Us Podcast." My name's Darren Duncan, DARINDUNKIN. You can find me on Facebook, and you probably won't find "Till Death Do Us Podcast" on YouTube because it's so brand new and there's no videos. So, feel free to, send me a friend request, I'll accept it, and you'll see all my advertisements and stuff, my posts or whatever about the 2 podcasts and how you can be involved with them. And, patreon.com/HO1D. You don't even have to give money, but that has a lot of info there as well. If you don't wanna be Facebook friends with me, that's totally fine too. And to see all my old episodes that are audio only for House of a Thousand Discourses, it is anchor.fm/HO1D or just Spotify. Go on Spotify and type in House of a Thousand Discourses, and you'll see all my past episodes. So here's the last article we're going to say here. A 14-year-old boy was arrested in Riverview, Florida on Saturday after he allegedly shot and killed his mother and left his mother's boyfriend with multiple gunshot wounds. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office received numerous 911 calls just after 4 p.m. on Saturday regarding an incident in the Summerfield subdivision. The scene behind me is one of the nightmares are made of, and that is extremely heartbreaking. So that's what the sheriff said. That's his quote. Deputies responded to the scene and found a 14-year-old boy who allegedly pointed a firearm at his own head at least 6 times, threatening to take his own life. A 16-minute negotiation ensued, and deputies fired a non lethal projectile at the boy. So he would not reach the gun again. Okay, cool. So they used non lethal. That's fucking awesome that they did that. Chronister, this is the chief, I believe. Um, It doesn't matter. But he said that deputies then responded to a call about a man who had fled the house after having been shot 5 times, sustaining gunshot wounds to the lower torso, hands, and face. The man was identified as the boyfriend's of the suspect's mother. So stepdad, mom's boyfriend, whatever. The victim was transported to Tampa General Hospital in critical condition. A woman's body was discovered lying in the driveway of a home a few blocks away. The woman, the suspect's mother, was pronounced dead at the scene. God damn, so she got shot and fucking tried to take off running and ended up fucking dropping dead in a neighbor's driveway. That's a fucking terrible place to die. A terrible way to die by your own kid. Fuck that. Jesus. So Chronister, the chief of police, I believe this is, he said the deputy spoke with the boy's older brother who was in the home where the woman's body was found. See, just a few seconds ago, I thought they said that she was found in the fucking driveway. The brother told deputies he heard his mother and her boyfriend arguing before he heard several gunshots. He left his bedroom and saw the suspect shoot his mother. The suspect then pointed the gun at his older brother who fled the scene. Fucking hey, god damn it. So that is our Florida man live tonight. I'm going to keep it at a half hour. Thank you all so much for entering the House of a Thousand Discourses, the Passion Project podcast that provides propaganda. If you want to support the channel, you can do it for as little as $2 a month at patreon.com/HO1D. I got merch coming. I will hook you guys up. And I'm going to start definitely doing tons and tons of extra content. I'm probably going to do some really deep dives on horror movies. That's my shit. That's my most favorite thing on the planet as far as like pop culture and shit goes. And I think I'm going to start doing that. So if you're really into horror movies and you want to learn some crazy shit that you probably won't learn anywhere else other than the House of a Thousand Discourses, join the Patreon for as little as $2 a month. That's what really keeps the lights on here in the House of a Thousand Discourses. Big time, gigantic shout out to our patrons, Linda Montez and Stephanie. Thank you so much for your Patreonship. I love you guys. You guys are awesome for contributing to this podcast and keeping the lights on and the doors open. And they are my straight up producers. They are literally helping produce the show. So thank them so much. I love you guys. You're fucking awesome. And stick around for all the extra content and shit behind the scenes. Now's a really good time to join because not now when I'm just feeling super froggy and I feel like leaping, so I'm gonna make lots of extra content for you guys. I'm gonna have a bunch of special guests coming up. Another way to support this show is by supporting the sponsors like Joe Chianakas. Look in the description where to find him. So you can get your 10% off his books and be entered into contests for his books. His books are amazing. I've read every single one of his books that he's written. I read all of them, except for the very, very, very brand new one. That one I have not read yet. He's going to be on the show very soon after he's done doing his promo and everything. This guy's got a laundry list of to-dos and he's super busy, but he was very cool enough to give our listeners, my listeners, whatever, a 10% off discount, be entered into a contest and a package deal. Also, my merch guys, the other sponsor, you can sponsor the show by or support the show by supporting them, mymerchguy.com if you need merch. So thank you all so much for listening. This has been the episode of Florida Man. If you see this after the fact, it's not live anymore as soon as I click end stream. So please comment and tell me what you thought of the show, any uh ideas for topics, and tell me what state you want me to do next for headlines. We could do fucking Utah man, and then just we can sit and bullshit about that for a half hour or so. So thank you all so much, and you are now exiting the House of a Thousand Discourses.